my screen. I assume, oh, you just have to enable the
Oh,
screen sharing piece of it. And then in the chat, maybe if you guys can say if you guys can see what's going on, if you can see the presentation once I pull it up. And then the chat will probably be helpful too, so that way you can ask questions because this is all about your session. And I'm assuming that you are artists and you're going to want to learn how to promote yourself and your art um, to hopefully monetize it in a little bit so that you're able to do more of it. Okay, so I assume people can see the screen. We have like a thumbs up or something in the chat. So we're good to go. Oh, yay. We got a perfect thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So this session is on, and maybe if it's not breakout sessions, it won't be the complete. I think thought you were going to be here for 2 hours. I mean, we're already, yeah, whatever, 25 minutes late, but welcome to Marketing for Artists. So we have to do the obligatory, what is marketing? And it is understanding that you are going to be creating, communicating, delivering, exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. So you are marketing yourself. What is the purpose of marketing for artists? And that would be, and this is true of a lot of my clients. So I have been in marketing in the Duluth area for 20 years. I was at Duluth Pack for 11 years in charge of the e-commerce piece and the branding piece and the social media piece and the retail piece and trade shows and wholesales. So all that kind of stuff. I have had my own business for 8 years, and all I do is train small businesses. And a lot of my businesses are artists because we have a fabulous artisan community in the area and all along the upshore, North Shore and Grand Marais. So it's been really fun to see the difference that marketing has made for the local artists in the area. I also run the social media group in town, Social Media Breakfast Twin Ports, if you want to join the Facebook group. It's been going on for 13 years and we have over 1,000 members and it's free and we love free. And we meet usually the second Friday of, every month that isn't December or the summer. So that is a little bit about my background. So again, I'm tailoring this towards artists, but a lot of it could be used for anybody that owns a small business, including myself, who is a small business owner. So we create marketing to build brand awareness. And obviously it's me as Molly Solberg Marketing, and a lot of artists are just their name, Molly Solberg Art. So building that brand so people understand my brand, the colors that I have, the font, they understand the logo, the headshot, the branding that I provide. You also want to reach new audiences. Hopefully, as an artist, you have a really core following. And I have a lot of artists that do. And now they want to reach out to more of those like-minded people that like their art, knowing, if Molly likes it, then there's a strong chance that Millie will like it. So how do we find those Millies? And then building the relationships with, I've got my little screen in the way, with collectors and galleries. We have some galleries in town. We have gift shops, a lot of them along the North Shore. So there's a lot of opportunities to sell the art that you make. And then there is marketing purposes to advance your career as an artist. I do marketing to advance my career as a marketer. So all of those things. So the first thing that if we had a room full of 20 people here, we were going to be maybe doing little breakout sessions. So I'm going to make you do homework on a incredibly gorgeous Wednesday night. So hopefully you are all sitting. I thought about that. I'm like, I'm just going to take my computer and sit outside tonight because it's really lovely. But then I'd have my dog in the background and maybe a deer. It'd be a lovely little scene. But I want you to get something out of this. You're obviously giving up an incredibly gorgeous evening. Hopefully again, you're outside. But in order to get something out of this, you are going to have a pencil or paper, or maybe since you're an artist, you have maybe some charcoal or some watercolors or acrylics. So whatever that is, I want you to write down a goal for yourself. So what do you want to see out of this presentation? What do you want to see out of your business, out of your art for the next 6 months, year? Do you want to create enough pieces to be in a show? Do you want to turn your art into note cards and sell them wholesale? Do you want to, be in more galleries? Do you want to have an e-commerce presence, an online website? So whatever that is, whatever that goal is, it's going to matter because that is going to be all of the marketing that you do has to have a purpose. I think people get really nervous and think marketing is, I got to create a bunch of content and I got to post it on social media. And if you're just posting to not have an end game, I mean, then you're just kind of wasting time. So write down, think in your head what your goal is for marketing for the year so that we can use the rest of the presentation to make it come true. So once you have your goal and whatever that goal is, then you have to market to the correct audience. There's a lot of, maybe I'm not a big fan of abstract art. So that's not going to be relevant if that's you. Anything Lake Superior, North Woodsy, I'm a sucker for that. So I want to see more of that. So think of who your target market is. Are you trying to get to art collectors, gallery owners, curators, art lovers, people that just buy your piece? Interior designers has been really interesting because I have a few clients that are artists and they have been reaching out to interior designers, especially in Minneapolis, with that aesthetic so that they can create custom pieces for some homes. So that's been really fun to do, to be able to reach out to some interior designers. And how we've done that is we've just done it through social media, finding the ones that you think will like your art, that fits well with their design. You can reach out through LinkedIn, or you can contact them through your website. So once you know who your target market is, if you're talking like you're an artist business and you're talking to an interior design, that's like business to business that you're talking to, or you're talking directly to a consumer. So the audience messaging is going to change. So think about the marketing channels you have. And I think so many people think marketing today is just online. That's all there is. But so much of it is offline as well. So online means having a website, having social media channels, email marketing. And email marketing, people would think is dead, but it's major corporations are spending most of their time and energy now on email marketing because it is so successful. I have one whole presentation just on email marketing, and the statistics are staggering. We talked about it once at Social Media Breakfast too, how people trust what they get in the email marketing campaigns more than they do if they see it on social media. If you have a show and you have a customer list of 100 people, if you don't email them, they're worth $100 a year to you. If you email them on a regular basis, they're worth $600 a year to you. So incredibly valuable tool, online marketing and email marketing. And then there's obviously the offline piece, the networking piece, being in galleries, having shows. So we can't forget there has to be the split between the online piece and the offline piece. And the beautiful thing about the offline piece is whatever you're doing offline, you're creating content to put online. So you're doing one, but then you're creating content for the other. And again, to talk more about what that offline marketing piece is, it is art shows, it is galleries, and networking events. It's a great way to meet potential buyers, collectors, and other artists. Make sure to bring business cards and talk about your work. And then that brings us to the online piece, having a website. And I spend a lot of my time talking about websites and talking about search engine optimization. So your website is your online storefront. It's important to have a well-designed website that's easy to navigate, that showcase your work in the best possible light. Websites can be pretty low cost. If you have a WordPress site, that can be free. You're just paying for some hosting and a domain cost, but WordPress websites are harder to build. But if you have that skill and experience, WordPress is great. And then you can do like a plugin that you can sell your merchandise, like a WooCommerce plugin in WordPress. You can do um, you can sell your work on Etsy. This is something that I've discovered with a lot of my artist clients. They start to sell some of their work on Faire, and that is Faire. And then they don't have to go to shows to show their art to be carried in like gift shops, because they just go online, and it's like an Etsy, but it's only for shop owners. It's only for store owners. So store owners will just log on to Faire, find all their unique small business items, and then purchase that in bulk for their store. So that's something new too. Websites can also be, I have a lot of artists on Squarespace and Shopify because they're just e-commerce powerhouses. They make it easy for you to upload your products and sell them that way. The other piece is social media. We all know social media is a great way to connect. You can post your high quality photos and videos of your art and engage with your followers. And again, I'm going to stress email marketing. And we know it's effective because we just have to look at our email inbox and we can see how large corporations are sending us emails because it is cost effective. It's a great way to stay in touch with your audience, promote your latest work, collect email addresses from visitors on your website, any visitors that you meet at shows, anything that you do, any email address you can get is very valuable. You can set something up in MailChimp, and you can do a footer and a header, and then you can just reuse that time and time again by just creating your own content. But email marketing is going to be really huge. And then we talked about making your e-commerce website very easy to follow. This is Adam Thurman, and I have a few of his pieces and his t-shirt. And he just got done with his successful state fair run, and he got a lot of promotion through that. So just knowing that there's his branding, which is much like the Duluth Art Institute with its red and white. It is consistent branding. It's this consistent logo, and the logo doesn't have to be anything complicated. This is just his name. But I like how it has two main options for you. You can shop, or you can creative services, you can hire him. So those are two main ways that he creates and generates income. And it's a lot of artists, they obviously are very proud of their work. They want to show their work, but oftentimes it gets really muddled and it's a hard time figuring out, can I commission them for something? Can I purchase this print? Where do they have any upcoming shows? So you want to make it really easy. Shop, creative services. And again, with the branding. And then I click on creative services. Do you want a custom mural? Do you want me to do an illustration? Or do you want to see my custom projects to get some ideas of how you can hire me? So it makes it really easy to get them where you want to go and then funnel them in the right direction. And having a nice white background that really vibrantly shows your work. And so here is an example of his Instagram account. He has the branding. He has a story, and then he saves his stories as highlights. So he's got all of his state fairs for the past 4 years. So that's kind of where he must make a lot of his income, where he just puts everything in those highlight reels. I think that he should create more highlights created on prints, t-shirts, commission works, murals, all those kinds of things. So his Instagram account has 21,000 followers. And you have to decide on social media what platform, because we had just talked in the beginning of the presentation about who your target market is and where are they getting their information from. So it's really interesting to see some of my artist clients that have higher followings on Facebook and not on Instagram, or on Instagram and not on Facebook. So I just wanted to see kind of no DMs, please. Contact button for contact and support. 21,000 followers on Instagram. Do we have any idea what it might be on Facebook? More or less? It is less. 8,000. 8,000 or 21,000, which is interesting. The one thing that his Facebook account allows him to have is a shop. So if you have an e-commerce website, like a Shopify or a Squarespace, they often have a plugin where you can plug it in and it automatically scrapes all that content and puts it into your Facebook store. So it's really easy to have that content there. So again, you can shop on the website, you can shop through his Instagram Linktree account, or you can shop here on Facebook. More opportunities to sell more products. So building your online presence is creating a professional website, which will have your portfolio on it. You can blog on it. And the thing about blogging is a lot of my clients get nervous about that, and you don't have to be nervous about it because you're just creating content. So more search engines, as soon as you create new content, a search engine will come along and grab that content. So you're creating more and more content out there for more and more potential buyers or customers to see you. And the beautiful thing about the blogging is you just one and done, you create it, and then you can use that blog. You can post the link on social media. You can use the picture from the blog, some content of the blog to use on social media. So you're just creating the content once and then repurposing it in all of your different spots. So again, with social media, make sure you choose the right ones based on your audience, and then consistent posting. Consistent. That's very hard for some people. So consistency matters. And then engagement. If you're getting some comments on it, engage with them. That really builds up your following. And then email marketing for artists. Build the email list, email campaigns, and newsletters. If you're going to create a website, it's going to be buried among a million other artists. So in order to get on top of the search engine results, there's search engine optimization. And this is really getting into the weeds, but I just want you to understand how your website's going to get first. It's going to be based on keywords. So maybe it's fine art floral, maybe it's Lake Superior watercolor, maybe it's Minnesota art, maybe it's North Woods art, maybe it's loon paintings, whatever that might be. Fill your website with the keywords that people would be searching for. The other thing that matters in search engine optimization is making sure you're going to have high quality images. And when you upload them onto your website, make sure that you change the name from a JPEG to the actual, your name as an artist, the name of what's in the, so it could be Molly Solberg art, watercolor loon painting, Minnesota 1. So it's a really long name, but now a search engine can read what that image is because it can't read what a JPEG 3792 is. So make sure you rename that, but make sure that you're not creating such a high resolution image that it slows the whole website down. If your website is slow, search engines won't post it. So the next one is building links and content promotion. So the search engines have determined that if you take your website and just write watercolor art on the back end 70 times, that's kind of scamming the system. They feel like building links is more powerful. So that means linking to the Duluth Art Institute. That means if you're a member, linking to Lizard's Gallery, if you've shown there before, linking to some of the paper that you use, linking to some of the whatever might be in your subject matter that might be in your art. So really creating those links, because search engines find your content by following links. So if you've got a link on your Facebook page that's going over to your Instagram, that's going to your blog, and the blog is linking to the shop where you can purchase that print, all of those links will move you higher and higher up on the search engine list. So now we have to create content for our online. So I usually work with businesses and solopreneurs to figure out 3 brand words, which really gives us 3 topic ideas, 3 topic buckets. So we can keep choosing from the buckets and rotating between them. And once we get those set up, it's going to be a lot easier to put your content on autopilot. So my branding words or my content buckets, if you don't want to come up with the branding words, are I have speaking engagements. So I'll just talk about those as one of them. I'll talk about marketing tips, what's going on TikTok, what's going on Snapchat, what's going on with Twitter switching to X. Is it worth being on there anymore? I'll share that marketing tips. And then the third one is maybe sharing success stories from my small businesses. So then I'll talk about all the businesses that I'm working with, and then I'll think about all the marketing tips there are, and then I'll go through my speaking engagements, and then I'll just rotate between those and then mix them in with Duluth weather always does good, whatever is inspirational to me at the time. So just rotating between those buckets. So again, here's some fun homework for you. Really think about talking about your process, talking about the materials that you use, talking about some places that you're going to be, and then just talking about yourself if it's just you as an artist. So we really start to learn you and your process and really feel like we're invested in it. I feel like I've been following like S.J. Nielsen in Duluth for a really long time. I just saw today that she posted a little funny video that she's creating clothing now out of some of her pieces. So you just feel like you're following along on her journey for the past, I don't know, 6 years, I suppose. So if you don't want to create content buckets, different facets of your business, 3 facets of your business to choose from. You can also choose brand words. When I was at Duluth Pack, we had talked about heritage or history being they're 140 years old. So the history was the history of Duluth, the history of the voyageurs, the portaging packs, the fur trade industry. We could talk about all of those things. And then one of them was the packs. So we just talked about the 100 and some different packs and the uses of each one. So that created a bunch of content. And then third, we talked about the customers, the trips that they were taking, how they were using the packs, and then we'd rotate between those 3. So take the time to really think about what are your brand buckets, what are your 3 facets of your business, and then fill those buckets with different ideas and then just rotate between them. And then setting up a content calendar. And that means if your art is going to be gifts for the holiday season, start talking about that. Start talking about where they can purchase it, why it would make a good gift, show it being wrapped up, showing it being delivered, putting it in an envelope. So people start to understand, oh, this would make and art makes a fantastic gift. Fantastic. We just get so much of the same stuff over and over again, but art can be really personalized. I just gave my dad for a Father's Day gift a customized photo, and I had a watercolor artist create a watercolor version of that, and he immediately had it framed and it hangs right in the kitchen so he can see it every day. So that just gives people the idea of how they could buy your art and give it for a gift. You can talk about the new year. You can talk about any sort of event that you've got going on. And especially if it happens year after year, like the holiday season and shopping season does, or Valentine's Day does. So mark it down so you don't have to worry about it. So you know that you're going to be planning. I know that I'm going to be having a show in next February. So this is what I need to do in January to advertise it, and I need to be creating. I can show the process of creating that art in December when it's a snowstorm. So think about what all that is. But if you create it once, it's one and done. So you can rotate between your content buckets and events that you've got going on and shows and different holidays. You mix all that in together, and that is your content for the year. So it's very exciting. And hashtags, you can see here that this example has hashtags. It has now switched that hashtags have less relevance on Instagram and more relevance on Facebook, which I thought that I would never say in my career because it's always been the opposite. And this is a lot of writing, but maybe you can get a copy of this presentation at the end so that you can see what it means. But here's more content ideas. So again, with the consistency, we won't have any issues with it. Blog about your process, inspiration, techniques, stories behind each piece. That would be so fascinating if I could hear the stories behind each of your pieces. This not only engages your audience, me, but provides valuable context for your work. Give tutorials and how-tos. You're not I would watch tutorials. You probably maybe seen the SJ Nielsen has the little mini one now, and she just carries around the little mini watercolors and just makes little mini things. I'm not an artist in any way, shape, or form. Giving me that tutorial isn't going to make me, I'm not going to be in her space. So it's just really interesting to I just get sucked in and just watch those over and over again. Time lapse videos are cool. You can do an interview. Maybe you have somebody that's, as a marketer, I work a lot with people in human resources that do coaching for businesses, or accountants that do. So if we can kind of get together and I can interview each of them and give a small business helpful hints that they need to succeed to make them well-rounded, it's really fun to create those interviews. And then obviously your social media prints, share your artwork behind the scene, engage with your followers. Do you like this? Do you like this colors? I thought about adding more pink, more red. What do you think? So again, more ideas for you to have. You can do art challenges and prompts, participate in or create your own art challenges and prompts, encourage your audience to join in and share their work, fostering engagement and community. How fun would that be, especially in the winter months? Virtual studio tours. And this has been really fascinating. When I've been Zooming with my artist clients, I like to have them like, move your computer around. I just want to see like everything. And a lot of times they don't have like huge studios. It's just a room. And this is this process, and this is where they have this over here. And it's just really interesting to see that. If I'm interested in seeing it, other potential customers are interested in seeing it, even if it's just your small little space in your home. This is collaborate with influencers, social media influencers. And it's just like finding an influencer, and it could just be local shops, other local artists. I just saw Bailey's Builds today is opening their new BB collaborative space in the old funeral home, and they're looking for applicants for their market, and it's going to be a really popular spot. So you can go on there and fill out a form and join their makers date. I think some of them are on Saturdays, or they were on Saturdays, but that's really interesting. Creating an online workshop. I have a lot of artists now that are doing it through Zoom, and they're doing both in-person workshops and online workshops. And it's just a way to share your talent with people that want to learn. So you can do that through your website. You can charge and do a little online workshop. Super interesting, and another way to generate income. Art reviews. It's just another content idea that you can talk about art, spark discussion about it. And you can do guest blogging. It'd be interesting if you have a website and another artist has a website, even if you don't have big followings yet, but you each kind of guest blog on each other's to kind of create those links and that cross promotion. You can, again, create an online store. You can do an art challenge like hashtag Inktober or an hashtag portrait challenge. This increases your visibility and connect with other artists. And then an art giveaway. Maybe you have a small little print. It's a great way to get emails. Sign up for an email for a chance to win this small print. And then you get those email addresses because they're interested in that print. So then those email addresses you can add to like your MailChimp account and then start sending them out a few times a year. And then leveraging visual content. Nobody's going to have more visual content than artists. So I'm a little jealous. My visual content isn't very exciting. Though high quality photography and video, we know video matters. The number one search engine the number one search engine in the world is Google. The number two search engine is YouTube, which is owned by Google. So YouTube is so even if you have like one little video, but you don't have a YouTube channel, I highly recommend that you take that video and put it on YouTube and set up a channel. Then you're going to have a billboard on the second largest internet highway by having that YouTube account. And we know that we watch video longer and we retain video more. So video is going to be a very important part of your content. And then showcasing your art and behind the scenes. We talked about leveraging your visual content online, obviously, and then collaboration and partnerships. And then selling your art, really thinking about pricing strategies, factors to consider, and doing a little competitive analysis. And then really researching some online sales platforms like we talked about with your website, hosting art exhibitions and shows, and then figuring out how you're going to handle transactions. You can start so small. You can start with your phone and getting that little Square reader and just doing it through there. And Square offers a free website. So you don't have to have a penny to start selling some of your art. I guess you do have to buy the little tiny Square reader, but that's it. So get started there. And then handling the sales transaction and then just making sure that you do a little bit of research on the tax that you need to charge. I don't know about that. So you can figure that piece of it out. And there is the Duluth in town has the Northland Small Business Development Center, and they have they're part of the Small Business Administration. And if you really want to take your art and your business to the next level, they have business advisors for free that can help you out. So you can go to the Northland Small Business Development Center if you want help in the business. And free is good. So thinking of your marketing budget, and my clients have a marketing budget of $1. They don't have any money. So you really have to think about how you're going to, all you have really is your time. You can get in front of a lot of people by doing all of the things that we talked about without spending any money. You can leverage what you can on search engines with a website. You can create some social media platforms just to have more, making sure that all of your images are labeled because Google is starting to show more video results and more image results. So the more that you have your images labeled with your art and your name, the more you're going to appear in search engines because they're going to start to give images of your work before your website often. So really think about that piece of it. If you have to spend money, I mean, maybe you're spending money creating little postcards or little flyers to talk about an upcoming show that you have going on. Otherwise, there's a lot that you can do organically. And that's just creating all that valuable content to get in front of more eyes without paying for it. If you want to pay for it, then maybe that's like a next level class that we talk about marketing with a budget. And then as an artist, you really think you really need to think about protecting your artwork and your brand, your copyright, contracts and agreements, trademarking your brand. So really think about putting maybe a little watermark on your image. I have a friend that's a photographer and she is really good about creating a watermark on all of her images that she creates. And then she refers people to her website where you can buy that image. So really think about that piece of it. And then we talked about a lot in a short time, but really making sure that you measure results. So website traffic. Google has a free tool called Google Analytics, and you can Google it. And you can install a free piece of code on your website, and it starts to analyze where people are coming from. Do you have people that are finding you from California? Like really interesting. From where? That would be interesting to know. How long are they spending on your website? What page are they leaving on? So that piece is interesting. And then think about social media. So start right now today. How many followers do you have on Facebook? How many followers do you have on Instagram? Is that a goal? Is to increase that? Then you're going to create more content. And it's really hard because sometimes we don't know what we were at. Like, oh, I was at 100 last year. Now I'm at 300. Well, that's pretty good growth. So write down right now if you have those accounts. And the beautiful thing about a lot of clients are on Instagram, don't want to be on Facebook, but it's an easy way to sell on Facebook. And now you're able to link the two together because Facebook, owns Instagram. So making sure that those accounts are linked. So I just post on Instagram, and vice versa, or post on Facebook and it automatically goes to Instagram and then back and forth. So you're only creating the content and posting it once, but it's going to both locations. And then if you create an email, which I think I've told you to do, really concentrate on those open rates and see maybe you have a headline that does better than others. Really look at how successful that is. And I know people get annoyed with email marketing, but you're only sending something out when you have something of value to share. You have some new prints to sell, you have a show coming up, and that is value. So send out an email then. It doesn't have to be every week. And then if you have a sale going on, how your sales are doing. And that could be based on pricing. It could be based on making sure that you're in the right space, that you're reaching the right clientele. So we talked about a lot in a short period of time. We were with a bigger group, we were going to have more breakout sessions, but there is an opportunity for us to work one-on-one. And so we can really go through more of this in depth. But just doing these 14 steps, 13 steps. So we had talked about defining your brand and what that is to you. What is my brand? It's turquoise. It is thoughtful. I try to be thoughtful and personable and maybe a little bit funny, maybe not so funny this late at night, but I am kind of funny, pretty funny. So those are some of my branding skills. And then setting your goal. What is my goal? My goal is to have 3 new small businesses in the next month. So how am I going to get those 3 small businesses? I'm going to reach out to my past clientele through an email and let them know, hey, I have some openings. If you want to go over a few more things, if you have some friends that you want to refer me to, that's my goal. And that's how I'm going to achieve my goal based on steps to achieve that goal. And then define who your audience is. My audience is small businesses. My audience is not large corporations. My audience isn't just a random person that doesn't have a business. So concentrating on that. And then your offline channels, don't forget about that. And then your online channels. And then your website online presence, making sure that it has that consistent branding, font, tone, voice, all of those things. And then we're going to geek out and think about search engine optimization and creating a website that you can easily navigate into the sources that make you income. You're going to show your beautiful images, but we could see on Adam Thurman's, we could easily get to his shop and we could easily get to his commission to hire him one-on-one. And then links. We learned about the power of having a link to a blog or a link to a guest post or speaking on a podcast. We talked about brand words or content buckets that we're going to create so it's easy for us to rotate between them. And then we talked about actually having a calendar. And so taking a blank calendar, printing it off. We all have some fun little homework coming up. As there's a chill in the air, we can print off our goal sheet and our branding with our little content ideas. And then we're going to come up with a calendar. What do we need to do in January? What kind of things are going on in February? Then you have it. So you can look back on it year after year. And then your marketing budget, hopefully it's $0. Let's work on all of these other things before we get to a budget. And then protecting your brand and measuring your results to see how well you're doing. Even if you're going up 5 new followers, very exciting. And then repeat that yearly. So that's a little bit of a recap of all the things that we talked about. So I appreciate you being online today. I am available for questions. And if you need any more help, just reach out to the Duluth Art Institute because there is some one-on-one time where we can really dive deep into some of these things. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm really excited to help the fellow artists. This community is amazing. And the stuff that all of you have created that I've seen has been absolutely amazing. And it's been really fun to buy. When I started my own business, the very first thing that I did, rather than get $1 and frame $1, my first client was an artist. So I bought a piece of her art. So that's my framed piece on the wall. So I don't have $10. I have a I have zero art ability. If you've seen some of my stick figures or talked to my past graphic designers, you can see that I don't, but I super admire it and love to purchase it. So thank you so much for having me. So sorry about the technical difficulties we had. And I'm excited to hopefully work with some of you one-on-one.